Do atheists need to organize themselves into groups? Is there any actual evidence for the existence of the big G? Well, stick around and find out if there is any evidence and if atheists are out to disprove religion.
This is a video for atheists, and I hope that you guys would share it with atheists.
Well, what a coincidence. This video was sent to me by an atheist, and I'm an atheist. You do, that's handy. Please subscribe.
So basically there is a group called the Freedom from Religion Foundation.
Is there? Well, I never. And to be honest, I'm not sure how I feel about a group like that. Why do atheists need a group? There's no groups for people who don't believe in the Tooth Fairy or the Easter Bunny. So why exactly do atheists need a group? Now, I know not all atheists think that way, but I'm not all atheists. And as I've said before, until I got on YouTube, I had never, not even once, referred to myself as an atheist. Today's video is sponsored by Aura, the app that keeps your personal information safe online. Have you ever searched for your name or personal information on the internet? It's scary to think about what information is out there for anyone to find, including your full legal name, home address, phone number, and even your relatives. But don't worry. That's where Aura comes in. Aura identifies data brokers that are exposing your information and automatically submits opt-out requests on your behalf. They'll even opt you out of junk email and telemarketing lists. Plus, Aura monitors your emails and passwords to see if they were involved in any sort of data breach and exposed on the dark web. If they find any of your private information on the dark web, they'll give you recommendations on what you should do. And that's not all. Aura has almost every internet safety tool you'll ever need, all inside one app. From a VPN, a password manager, to real-time credit and identity theft monitoring, and internet parental controls. Aura's got you covered. But don't just take my word for it. Try Aura out for yourself with a 2-week free trial using my unique link, aura.com/creaky. And you will be shocked at how much of your private information Aura finds exposed over those 2 weeks. So why wait? Go to aura.com/creaky to start your free trial and see if your personal information has been leaked online. And remember, your online safety is important. Let Aura do the hard work of keeping you safe.
And they have been very successful in convincing institutions and schools to not teach intelligent design.
Well, you should have opened with that. Where do I sign up? And I don't want to be mean. It just seems to happen naturally. What can I say? But how gullible does a person have to be to even consider that intelligent design is a thing? And in case you've stumbled across this video and have no idea who I am or what I'm talking about, intelligent design just means that there are people out there who think that God did it. And by it, they mean everything. But they've never made it clear whether that includes things like childhood cancer or women who die in childbirth. Is God responsible for those things as well?
And when authorities stand up to them, they usually sue in court and then they win. So they've been very successful.
And you know why, don't you? Because they're right and creationists are wrong 100% of the time.
Therefore, in our institutions, it is overwhelmingly filled with people who are atheists, because people that are believers are not going to work there. They're not going to fit in there. They might as well go to like a Christian school.
I went to a religious school. It was terrible. And of course those people wouldn't fit in the Freedom from Religion Foundation, because they aren't free from religion. In fact, they aren't free at all. They're told what to think, what to say, how to behave, and all through fear of something or someone who doesn't even exist. Or at least nobody can prove he does. You know when you were a small child and you were afraid that the boogeyman was going to get you after dark? Well, it's the same thing, except these are adults. And whereas most people grew out of the fear of the boogeyman once they realized it was all just in their imagination and that the dark can't hurt you, unless of course you get up for a pee in the night and trip over your slippers and take out 75% of your wife's favorite ornament, then it really does become dangerous.
And so basically we have an overwhelming viewpoint, one viewpoint, being taught to us through school.
No, we don't. What we teach in schools is what can be backed up with a butt-ton of this little thing we like to call evidence. It isn't a point of view, it's factual. We teach facts.
Now, we also have the whole idea of evidence against God.
Now, what do you mean evidence against God? That makes no sense at all. No atheist is going out of their way to prove that God isn't real. What an atheist does is say that they don't believe the same things you do. Whenever a creationist thinks that they have evidence for God, it always, without fail, involves them saying something like, God is real, because they say so in the Bible. The Philosopher's Stone says Harry Potter is a wizard, but he isn't. He's a fictional character. Everyone knows he's a fictional character. So using the Bible to prove God is exactly the same as using Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone to prove that wizards are real.
Being taught, but it's actually not. There is no evidence against God.
I kind of agree with you there. There isn't really any evidence against God. There doesn't need to be until someone actually provides some evidence for God. That doesn't involve the Bible.
In fact, there is so much evidence for him, but the fact is,
well, if there's so much evidence for God, why is it that no one can ever provide any? Do you not think that if there was any scientific evidence for a God or gods, someone would have presented it by now? And I mean an actual scientist, not some clown on YouTube claiming to be a scientist. I can't. Because believe it or not, there are plenty of Christian scientists. So don't you think that if there was any, they would be the first in line to shout, "Ha! See, atheists, God is real, and here's the supporting evidence."
this evidence for God is not being treated as evidence. There is always a way for people to turn something that is evidence of intelligent design into not evidence by redefining what evidence actually is.
Again, that just isn't true. I thought not lying was one of the 10 commandments, you naughty boy. Nobody is changing the definition of evidence just to scupper creationists. They do enough of that for themselves. Why would we help them? Evidence. The available body of facts or information indicating whether a belief or proposition is true or valid. Yeah, that's the definition I'm familiar with. And what it's basically saying is prove it or shut the fuck up. Unless, of course, you happen to have some facts or information that didn't come out of a 2,000-year-old book.
So, okay, I could show you an apple, and I could teach a intelligent design viewpoint of this apple, or I could teach a evolutionary viewpoint of this apple.
Yes, you could, but are you able to objectively see the main differences in the two explanations about where apples came from? I'll spell it out for you. One of them is based on available facts and information, evidence, and the other one is a load of old tosh from the Bible.
But if you are constantly exposed to the evolutionary viewpoint of this apple, it's going to change your worldview.
My worldview has got nothing to do with apples or any other fruit. Is it because if someone is able to understand and accept where apples actually came from, then they would no longer have any need to believe in Harry Potter? Sorry, I meant they would no longer have any need to believe in God.
And so a lot of Christians are dealing with this, where we go through the education system and we've got this view and all these words and stuff being said to us where we're just like, but everybody thinks this.
I feel for you. I really do. It must be awful to go through life believing in something that if it wasn't pushed on such a monumental scale would be completely unbelievable. Just because lots of people believe in a thing, it doesn't necessarily mean that that thing is real.
It's not that everybody thinks that, it's because our education systems are
teaching us useful things?
Influenced by this idea. They're being led by this idea that there is no intelligent design.
So our education system is influenced by scientific research and evidence. How could they be so selfish? I bet most people would rather their children were taught any old crap. I mean, come on, seriously. When have you ever used maths or science in your everyday life? And English? What the hell is that all about? I was terrible at English, and I can talk proper tidy. I can use big words and everything.
But scientifically, there's intelligent design.
But what does that even mean? Scientifically, there's intelligent design. If you mean there are intelligent people who have designed things, then yeah, I would agree, absolutely. But I suspect that isn't what you mean.
We look at science. Now, it's no coincidence that the #1, the world's famous quantum physicist, I forgot his name, He studied quantum physics for 20 years, and then he won the Nobel Prize. And in his speech, he said all he can conclude is that there is an intelligence behind everything.
I've just lost an hour of my life that I'm never getting back, and I can't find any information about a famous quantum physicist saying anything like that. So unless you've got a citation, pal, I guess we're moving on. Do you know who he means? Comment below and let me know, like these amazing people did, who also hit the super thanks button. Thank you all so much, it is truly appreciated.
That there is a God, basically.
But how did you reach that conclusion? How is someone saying that his conclusion is that there is intelligence to design, someone whose name escapes you, interestingly enough, but how does that translate into him confirming that there is a God?
There is a scientific impossibility that nothing can create life, because in science we see that life creates life.
Hang on a second, but isn't that exactly what creationists believe? That God, who as far as I can tell could be considered to be nothing, created Adam from the dirt. And creationists like Kent Hovind have the barefaced cheek to say that evolution acceptors believe we evolved from rocks. And he's serious, as far as I can tell.
But the fact is, we can have very intelligent, very intellectual people in the education system. Very impressive, genius maybe. They still have taken an emotional choice to teach a certain way.
I see what you did there. Very cunning. The way you discredit it by calling it an emotional choice and not a rational choice, which is what it is. Emotional choice theory is a social scientific action model to explain human decision making. Its foundation was laid by Robin's monograph Emotional Choices, published by Oxford University Press in 2018, and is considered an alternative model to rational choice theory or constructivist perspective. Now, I don't know what half of that means, but didn't I sound smart saying it?
You can have an emotional choice to believe in God.
Yes, you can! And that's because there's no way to rationalize that belief without lying to yourself.
And that's going to lead you this way. That's going to lead you to all of the ways of thinking about life and everything in this way.
Now, when you say in this way, I'm going to have to assume that you mean living in fear of the big bad sky daddy, finding out that you did a naughty, and that he won't let you into heaven when you die. Well, that's where being an atheist affords you freedom. Freedom to think for yourself. Freedom to make your own choices and do good things for other people just because it's kind, and not because you're afraid of not being good, in case you upset the deity.
You might even become like Aristotle or some of the great world thinkers that believed in God. When Aristotle said, "All that I know is that I know nothing."
Well, I too know nothing, clearly. So I guess that makes me the modern day Aristotle. No, but seriously, how can you say that with a straight face? Why is it that creationists seem to be incapable of admitting that they just don't know? It's fine not to know something.
And yet the atheistic group tries to pretend that all of the great famous world thinkers are atheists, but in fact they're not.
And once again, we're gonna need a citation for that. Which atheist is claiming that? What's their name? Would I know who they are? Or is this just another example of a creationist saying what they think they need to say to further their own agenda?
And the atheists have even said sometimes, like Albert Einstein, he's like, "Stop quoting me as an atheist, I'm not an atheist."
In a letter to philosopher Eric Gutkind, I'm not sure, which was written in 1954, Einstein said, "The word God is nothing more than the expression and product of human weakness. The Bible, a collection of honorable but still primitive legends which are nevertheless pretty childish." But Albert Einstein's religious and spiritual beliefs are a matter of huge debate and interpretation, of course. So, if I can be honest enough to give you a real answer, then maybe you would be kind enough to do the same.
Even Darwin never said he was an atheist.
But yet again, it's up for debate. Darwin was raised in a religious household and initially planned to become a minister, but he later became increasingly skeptical? But he later became skeptical of religious dogma and began to question traditional Christian beliefs. So in the same way I won't claim he was an atheist, you really shouldn't be claiming he wasn't, because it's not honest.
And so it's basically what it is, what we don't understand, it's not called a religion, this way of thinking. It's not called faith, but it is faith. You're believing something that you have not seen. You have not seen evolution. You have not seen that there is no God. And so you're believing that there is not God.
And there it is. That, boys and girls, is what frustration and desperation looks and sounds like. Atheists believe that there is no God. No, sorry pal. By definition, an atheist lacks belief that there is a God or gods. What you just said is really stupid and something I've heard creationists say over and over again. Lack of belief in a God or gods isn't believing that a God or gods don't exist, if that makes any sense. You've heard of the burden of proof, right, Mr. Creationist?
I've not seen God, but I believe in God, and I choose to believe God because I choose the yes in life. There's a yes in life and there's a no in life. The yes in life is that we're here for a reason, and that there's a God. That means that everything is happening, like even the next word out of my mouth matters, okay? That's how much everything matters. That's what I choose to believe.
Yeah, and that's completely fine. If that's what you choose to believe in, then go for it. Do whatever makes you happy. I happen to live my life by that rule as well. Everything that happens for a reason. And I can do it all without the need or the fear of a God or gods.
Because this is what I call evidence of creation. This is what you call evidence of evolution. But you happen to have
huge amounts of evidence to support evolution. Yeah, we know. What the creationists have, a dusty old book.
Support. You happen to have the overwhelming majority of thinkers and people in the education system who have been influenced by mainly this group that I mentioned earlier.
So what about all the people that didn't believe in God pre-1978, which is when the FFRF was founded? What support did they have?
And so what I want to get down to is that this is a choice of the heart that humans have to make.
Now, I kind of agree with you. Yes, it is a choice to believe in God, in exactly the same way as it's my choice to realize that there just isn't any evidence to support the existence of God. Why is it that it's okay for creationists to choose to believe in God, and somehow an atheist is wrong to choose not to believe in God? And I know you don't really choose to not believe. It's the natural choice if you don't want to lie to yourself, isn't it?
I went through all that. I went through the education system. I went through a lot of pain. I went through negative experiences.
And yet you still choose to be a young earth creationist. Thank you very much to Aura for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget to take a look at the link below. Huge thanks to everybody that hit the super thanks button on Friday's video. Without the support of you lovely lot, I wouldn't be able to do this full time. Thanks for watching everyone, and I will see you all again on Friday. Love you, bye.
Alright, watch this next. But before you do, make sure you subscribe. By order of the Creaky Blinder.